Before you buy any SUV, seriously, watch this video first. Because right now, thousands of people across the US are making the same mistake. They're buying SUVs based on looks, hype, or monthly payments, and regretting it later. Some SUVs look amazing in the showroom but turn into financial nightmares after a few years. Others seem cheap at first, but hidden repair costs, poor reliability, and terrible resale value make them some of the worst purchases you can make. And the crazy part is, dealerships usually won't warn you about any of this. That's why in today's video, we're going over the biggest mistakes SUV buyers make, the tricks dealers use, and the things you absolutely need to check before spending your money. And trust me, if you skip these steps, you could lose thousands. So before we start, comment below what SUV you're thinking about buying. I might tell you if it's worth it or not. And if you enjoy honest car content that actually helps people, hit subscribe because this channel is all about avoiding expensive mistakes. 8. Don't buy an SUV just because it looks expensive. One of the biggest mistakes people make is buying an SUV just because it looks premium. And honestly, car companies know exactly how to trick buyers emotionally. Big grills, aggressive headlights, giant wheels, fancy interiors, all designed to make you feel like you're getting luxury. But here's the truth. Looks don't tell you anything about long-term reliability. Some of the best-looking SUVs on the road end up having terrible resale value and expensive repair problems later. Meanwhile, some boring-looking SUVs quietly last 250,000 miles without drama. That's why smart buyers focus on ownership experience, not just appearance. Because after the excitement wears off, you still have to live with the payments and repair bills. So tell me honestly, would you buy an SUV mainly because of the design? Comment looks matter or reliability matters. 7. Monthly payments can trick you. A lot of people walk into dealerships thinking only about one thing, the monthly payment. And that's exactly what dealers want. Because if they can make the payment sound affordable, many buyers stop paying attention to the total cost. You'll hear things like, only $499 a month. But what they don't focus on is how long you'll be paying, how much interest you're giving away, and how quickly that SUV loses value. Some people end up trapped in 6 or 7-year loans on SUVs that won't even last that long without problems. That's not smart buying, that's financial stress waiting to happen. So before buying any SUV, always look at the total ownership cost, not just the monthly number. Let me ask you this. Would you rather drive a cheaper, reliable SUV or an expensive one with huge payments just to impress people? 6. Reliability is more important than features. Modern SUVs are packed with screens, cameras, ambient lighting, and fancy tech features. And yes, they look cool in advertisements. But here's the problem. More technology often means more things that can break. Some buyers get distracted by giant touchscreens and forget to ask the most important question. Will this SUV still be reliable after 100,000 miles? Because at the end of the day, heated seats won't matter if your transmission fails. A panoramic sunroof won't help if electrical problems keep showing up. Smart SUV buyers prioritize reliability first, features second. Because reliability saves money, time, and stress. So if you had to choose between a reliable SUV with basic features or a luxury SUV with questionable reliability, which one would you pick? 5. Cheap SUVs are not always good deals. A cheap SUV can feel incredibly tempting, especially when prices are high everywhere else. But sometimes cheap simply means problematic. There's usually a reason certain SUVs lose value quickly in the used market. Maybe they have transmission issues, expensive maintenance, poor build quality, or terrible reliability history. And many buyers realize this too late. They save money up front, only to spend way more later on repairs. That's why research matters so much before buying. Don't just ask how cheap is it, ask why is it cheap? Because those are two completely different questions. And honestly, some SUVs are cheap because owners are desperate to get rid of them. Have you ever almost bought a car and later found out it had major problems? Share your story below. 4. Test drives don't reveal long-term problems. One of the most dangerous things about buying an SUV is that a short test drive can make almost anything feel good. Most vehicles feel smooth for 15 minutes around a dealership. That doesn't tell you how they'll perform after years of ownership. It doesn't reveal transmission issues, reliability concerns, expensive maintenance costs, or weak resale value. That's why smart buyers research owner experiences, mechanic opinions, and long-term reliability reports before making decisions. Because the real ownership experience starts after the excitement of buying disappears. And trust me, many people wish they had done more research before signing papers. So before buying your next SUV, don't just drive it, study it. 3. Resale value matters more than you think. A lot of buyers completely ignore resale value, and that's a huge mistake. Because some SUVs lose value unbelievably fast. You buy it today for $40,000, and a few years later, it's worth half that. Meanwhile, reliable brands like Toyota and Honda often hold their value much better. That means you lose less money over time. And honestly, depreciation is one of the biggest hidden costs of owning a vehicle. It's not exciting to think about, but smart buyers always do. Because one SUV might seem cheaper up front, but another could actually cost less overall because it keeps its value longer. So here's the question. Which matters more to you? Lower upfront cost or stronger long-term value? 2. Not every SUV fits your lifestyle. One mistake people make all the time is buying SUVs for imaginary lifestyles instead of real needs. Someone who mostly drives in the city buys a giant off-road SUV they'll never fully use. Another person buys a tiny crossover, then realizes they need more space later. Before buying any SUV, ask yourself what you truly need. Do you need fuel efficiency, family space, reliability, towing ability, winter driving confidence? Because the best SUV depends completely on your lifestyle. And honestly, many buyers overspend on features they'll barely use. That's why smart car buying starts with honesty about how you actually drive every day. 1. The best SUV isn't always the most popular one. The final thing you need to understand before buying any SUV is this. Popularity doesn't always mean quality. Some SUVs sell well because of marketing, brand image, or trends, not because they're actually the best long-term vehicles. And some underrated SUVs quietly outperform famous competitors for years without getting much attention online. That's why you should never buy an SUV just because everyone else is buying it. Research matters more than hype. Reliability matters more than advertisements. And long-term ownership experience matters more than social media trends. Because once the excitement fades away, you're the one living with that SUV every single day. So make sure you choose wisely. At the end of the day, buying an SUV is one of the biggest financial decisions many people make. And if you rush into it emotionally, you could end up regretting it for years. But if you take your time, research properly, and focus on reliability and long-term value, you can save yourself thousands of dollars and a lot of stress. If this video helped you, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications because we post honest SUV content like this all the time. And before you leave, comment below. What SUV are you thinking about buying right now? Let's help each other avoid bad decisions.